Hi, my name is Terrence Taylor, and today I'd like to give you guys a brief tutorial on how to make some home-brewed beer and also the equipment that you'd need in order to get started to make some home brew. The important equipment that you're going to need to make home brew is going to be a 5-gallon bucket, a large boiling pot, a thermometer, a hydrometer, a stirring spoon, and pretty much ingredients for your beer. So getting started, the first thing that you're going to do and the first step is going to be to make your wort. And pretty much what your wort is your beer before it's been fermented and before it's ready to drink. First step to make your wort, you're going to need your large boiling pot. Your boiling pot is going to need to be able to withstand at least 3 gallons of water. So what you want to do is you want to get 2 gallons of water and put it in your boiling pot and bring it to a rolling boil. Once you get your water to a rolling boil, you want to add your liquid malt extract. And what your liquid malt extract is pretty much your grains for the beer that have been altered so that they get all the fermentable sugars and whatnot into a liquid form instead of having it in a grain form. Kind of like if you were thinking about coffee, it's not in the coffee grain form of it, but it's more into a concentrated liquid. What you want to do is take this liquid malt extract and put it inside of your boiling water. Once you do that, you stir it up and let it boil for about 45 minutes to an hour. Once that's boiled for 45 minutes to an hour, you want to add your second ingredient, which is going to be your hops. The hops is pretty much what gives your beer the bitterness, and it also gives it a really strong bitter aroma depending on how long you leave it inside the boiling water. On average, I'd say anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes depending on the strength and the type of hops that you use for your beer. Once your hops and your liquid malt extract have boiled for the required amount of time, what you want to do is you want to take the flame off of it and let it cool down. You want to get your beer to anywhere between 65 and 77 degrees. Once your beer's in between those temperatures that I just explained to you, what you want to do is you want to take that 2 gallons of boil that you had your wort and you want to put it into your 5-gallon bucket. Once you do that, you want to add 3 gallons of regular water and stir that up. If your temperature is still between 66 and 77 degrees, this is the time that you want to pitch your yeast, which is the third ingredient that you're going to need. Third and final ingredient that you're going to need before your fermentation starts. Once you pitch the yeast, once you pitch the yeast inside of your wort, you're going to stir it up. Make sure that you get your yeast well spread out through your wort, and then this is going to activate the fermentation process. Once your yeast is pitched inside of your wort, you want to cap your 5-gallon bucket and put a bubbler on top of it. And pretty much what the bubbler does is it lets all the gases from the fermentation escape so that it doesn't build up inside your bucket and explode, which is going to be a mess if that happens. So that's the point of the bubbler. It's just pretty much like a little carb on top of your bucket so that, like I said, your gases can escape. Depending on the type of beer that you plan on making, fermentation process can be anywhere between 1 week to a month or even longer depending on the beer. Personally, I like to make Belgian beers, which take anywhere up to a month for fermentation process. But like I said, depending on the type of beer you make is also going to depend on the length of fermentation time. Once your fermentation process is finished, the next thing that you want to do is make sure that you have quite a few dozen 12-ounce bottles or a little bit less of the 22-ounce bottles ready and completely sanitized, because a sanitized bottle is it's a very necessary thing, because if your bottles are not sanitized, it can contaminate your beer, and therefore once it's done fermenting and once the bottling stage is done, your beer is going to get contaminated. It's not going to taste good when you finally do get the chance to drink it. So once you have your sanitized bottles ready, what you want to do is you want to open your 5-gallon bucket, and prior to bottling your beer, you want to get priming sugar. And what priming sugar is used for is you mix it into your wort, and once you mix it into your wort and stir it up in there, this priming sugar is used solely for carbonation of your beer. So once you mix about a tablespoon into your wort, you want to make sure you stir it up, and then once that's stirred into your wort, the next thing you want to do is siphon the beer from your 5-gallon bucket into each bottle individually, not filling it all the way to the top, maybe leaving about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of air from the top of the bottle to your fill point. Once you've completely emptied out your bucket into your, each individual bottle, the next thing you want to do is cap your beers. And once you cap your beers and everything is filled up, you just want to store all of your beers in a cool area of the house, whether it be in the house, a closet, or even a garage if you have one. It usually takes about 1 week for your beers to all be carbonated, and once these beers are carbonated, your beer should be pretty much ready to drink. You can go check on them maybe after about 7 days. Shake one of the bottles and just to check to see if you have carbonation in your beers inside of your bottles. Once that's done, you pretty much have a complete beer, and you're ready to drink. I'd say refrigerate them for a couple days, and then pop one open and see how it went. Me personally, I've been brewing for a little over a year now. I've made 3 different beers. All have been Belgian style beers, which are known to have a higher alcohol content in them. And pretty much what got me into brewing beer is, I always, like cooking. I've always been really creative in the kitchen. And once I figured out that you can actually brew beer at home and you don't have to just go out and buy it, I figured, I can use my cooking creativity and use that toward beer, and kind of add my own, add my own ingredients to my beers, add my own flavors, kind of figure out what it is that I like in a beer, and put it in there myself instead of having to go find a beer that I think I might like. So hopefully my tutorial helped you out a little bit, maybe sparked an interest, and might make you want to go brew some beer. Right now I'm leaving the floor open for any questions if you have any, and thank you very much for your time.